Yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm Michael from Germany. In I&I, we have a wholesale company, distribution company for beauty products in Germany. I also have a US company, C Corp in the US, doing a lot of D2C stuff. And actually, when we started our journey back in 2011, I was a sales rep on the road, like driving 60, 70,000 miles a year to beauty salons, hair salons. Tried to just selling products, get them up and running, education, all this stuff. And then I read Russell's book, I think 2015-16, .com Secrets, changed my life completely. But at this time, we had no idea how paid ads is working and all this stuff. So we did all organic, and we tried tons of agencies, didn't work out, I think 3 or 4 different ones. And then I said, okay, myself, you need to do it, you need to dig into it. And then I started 2016, working more and more on paid ads. And since then, our business was skyrocketing. And I just want to, just for me to know who's running paid ads in the room, just that I have, okay, perfect. Who's running their ads and using agencies? Okay, wow, great, perfect. So the challenge that we always had is when we hired someone coming in and we onboarded them, it was difficult, especially media buyers, creative strategists, to get them very quickly into a framework. And so we had, I would say, the last 6-7 years, we worked so many things on frameworks to systemize ads, ad creatives, ad copy, all around this topic, that we are able to get someone on track within 4 weeks. So if we hire someone, a media buyer, creative strategist, they can do the exact same work that I do within 4 weeks. And that's also something, when we had the discussion yesterday, Russell, how can we scale up actually our ad account, right? How can we reduce our CPAs and get to a certain level? If it's 10K a day, if it's 100K or 150, you need to have frameworks in place. Especially the more products you have, the difficult it is, right? And this is something what we experienced, especially the ones who are running their own ads. You know how difficult Facebook was this year, especially, right? For someone who thought last year was a rough ride, this year is like probably something that we never experienced. And the CPAs, they will just go up. They won't go down anymore. CPMs were rising. It's a simple reason, because the more advertisers joining the platform, the less ad inventory is available for all of us. That means the auction is going up, CPMs are going up, right? At the same time, we see the AI leverage. So we get more and more AI into the platforms. That means for a lot of, let's say, newbie marketers, they are suddenly able to do a great copywriting, doing great ads because of AI. What does it mean? It increases our competition, right? What does it mean? It increases the price. So that's how the environment in general works. But the good news is there's a solution. So and that's something I want to show you now. And before I dive into the framework and how we do research, audience research and stuff like this, who knows how Facebook's, or let's say in general, how the auction system is working? It's no matter if it's Facebook, YouTube. Okay. It's relatively simple, and the good thing is we can influence it. And Facebook has, the auction is based on a bid. That's what we bid to Facebook actually. Then we have the estimated action rate. And then we have the value that we give as advertisers to the user, actually. So what does it mean, actually? The bid is the bid, right? So that's pretty simple. The estimated action rate is actually our conversion rate on our landing page and the average session time. That's how Facebook measures the estimated action rate. The value is everything that's happening on our ad. Clicks, likes, comments, shares. This is like everything on the ad. And all this together is the total value that we give to Facebook and its users. Because Facebook and also all the other platforms, they don't care about us advertisers. They only care about how long is a user on average on the platform daily. So that means if we as advertisers give them a low valuable ad, That means you have a low average watch time, the CTR is low. Why should Facebook reward you for this, right? So, and just to make it a bit more clear, this is the total value. And this is the auction threshold. So when do we win actually an auction? And now that's you, just an example. And this part below is currently your ad, which is the value you give, and your conversion rate, which is the estimated action rate. The other one is the bid. So like I said, if we are not able to give a lot of value to Facebook and its users, Facebook says, okay, listen, you still can advertise, but you have to spend a lot of money. What does it mean? High bid means a high CPA. Simple. Let's go up. So what I will show you now in a minute is how can we actually lower the bid and increase the value for the user and for Facebook itself. So we want to be on this side and say, okay, we need to bid low because our ad is on place, our conversion rate is on place, and that makes a difference. This is our low CPA. Does this make sense? Just like, yeah? Yes. So it's really like the more we give to Facebook, the more value we give to Facebook, the cheaper is the advertising at the end, right? So, and when I see ad accounts, and I spent myself in the past several 8 figures, I'm in a very small dedicated media buying group. We spend altogether a year somewhere between 200 and 250 million. And I see a lot of ad accounts, and I always see the bottlenecks. And it always comes down to 2 things. Number 1 is the wrong audience research. And that's something now it's interesting. Who in the room thinks really, I know my audience in and out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. And who has like a creative testing framework that can pull out 200, 300, 400 ads a month? There you go. Russell, I thought now his fingers going up. Okay, great. I will show you now how easy we actually can solve both problems relatively quickly. So let's say I would just use a new one. This is our audience. And what we want to sell now together is we want to sell something to blonde women. It's actually an e-com product, relatively simple. So this is our audience, blonde women, and we want to sell today a purple shampoo. So the ladies in the back know exactly what it is, right? So it's like, just for the males in the room, it's to neutralize the orange and yellow undertone in the blonde hair, just to get it more neutral and more in the platinum. Blonde shampoo. So the audience is relatively simple. It's blonde hair, but who use it like someone who has brassy hair, right? You agree? Yes. So our audience would be somewhere here, brassy hair. And that's something that probably all advertisers do. They go now for brassy hair. What's happening? We have a lot of competition on brassy hair, right? So we want to avoid this. It's probably our main audience, of course, blonde women with brassy hair. But we want to find now a lot of different kind of buckets inside of our audience where we can just lift up, where we have less competition and where we can put in a lot of ad spend. So we don't want to focus on one messaging. We want to find the nuggets that we spend 5K here, 6K here, and this is the leverage then to go to 100K or 150K. So then we have different kind of problems, desires, anxieties. And that's the goal now. So how can we do it? Several ways. For e-com, for example, I like to go to Amazon, and I do always the same kind of list. It's a positive, a negative, a problem, anxiety, and desire. These are actually everything that I need to know about my audience, right? So when I start going now on Amazon, I'm reading all the reviews, starting from 5 stars going down to 1 star. And especially what we have experienced now for the purple shampoo is, when we went through the whole list on reviews, and just shortly to interrupt, don't use AI in the first place. Do it manually because you will learn a lot about your audience, especially when writing hooks and stuff like this. It makes a difference. Sometimes you see a review where you think, okay, wow, I can use this one-on-one as a hook. We tried a lot of stuff with AI. You can use it if you want to bump out something very quickly, but if you want to go long-term, do it manually. You get a completely different feeling about your audience. We found stuff like, for example, during the read, someone got purple hair, actually, after using a silver shampoo. So we kept reading. We found it a second or third time. So we start counting, actually. We qualify and quantify what we are seeing based on data, right? So purple 3 times. Then we found, okay, dry out my hair. We found it several times. Didn't neutralize. So it means just didn't cover. And we went on and on and on. We had, like, at the end, I don't know, 10, 15 different kind of problems my audience had with my competitors. So what does it mean, actually? These are problems, right? Problems that my audience had with my competitor. And it's the same with the problem, anxiety, desire. We could still keep on going with Amazon. We can also use, like, Reddit. Just type in whatever. How can I get rid of frizzy hair? You will get tons of subreddits where you just can find the real problems, the anxieties and desires, and do the same. Whatever you find, let's say frizzy hair, if you find it 10 times, count it. The importance is the counting part, because then you really know, based on data, what's the main problem. Otherwise, you're just guessing. We found out, for example, with anxiety, they were afraid to leave the house because they could probably get purple hair. That's an anxiety, right? You don't think about it if you don't read it or if you don't find it. It's weird, yeah. The desire was just like to get really natural, shiny blonde hair. That's the real desire, to get compliments all day long. And these are the triggers. And if I give that value to Facebook or into my ads, and I hook the right persons with the right framework, keep them as long as possible in the video, what does it mean at the end? I give value to Facebook, I give value to the user, and it will lower my bid. Does it make sense?
What was the A again?
Again?
What was the A, the fourth column?
Anxiety. And for example, like, you can use Reddit. You can also there's a tool called Discussions Button. It's a Chrome app. And I highly recommend you to download it. It's a perfect research tool for any copywriting stuff. You just put it in the search bar, example, in Google, like I said, how do I get rid of frizzy hair? Click on the Discussions button, what's happening. It filters all the old threads before we had any Facebook groups and stuff like this, the deep conversations from the, 2000s somewhere. And there are the golden nuggets. I found so many hooks just in these kind of conversations and threads. And then that's one of my favorites, especially for info products and coaching. Go on Amazon and search for any book in your niche, whatever it is. And do the same. Do a positive, negative list on the book reviews you see. Thousands of golden nuggets you will find for hooks, for copywriting, even for your landing page headlines. So how can we now use our research actually to make this, let's say, as an ad? I'll keep it like this. So we have several frameworks, but I just want to simply show you something what you can do now if you have done all your research. So simple formula. We have the problem. We agitate the problem, we come up with a solution and the product. We use benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3. We have a CTA 1, that's a video ad, by the way, right? And a CTA 2. So what I just do now, because I did all my research and I know exactly what kind of issues and problems my competitor had with my prospect had with my competitor, at the same time I know all the main problems, anxieties and desires. So I'm just start now to implement problem, right? I just address the problem. I know the anxiety, I just fill it in. The solution is actually our product and whatever you want to put in. Benefit 1, 2, 3 is, that's important now, your product or your service or coaching product definitely needs to bring it. But if you can say, okay, the zero shampoo, if you use mine, it's not getting purple, your hair doesn't dry out, and it definitely covers your hair, then you just put the negatives you find here into positives here. Relatively simple framework. The desire is your CTA1. And the CTA2 is just like test now, apply now, grab yours now, whatever. But to coming back to the issues we had, especially while we were scaling up, to get the same kind of quality no matter who's doing this in the team, it was just this. And the guesswork was over. So we always knew exactly, okay, main problem, purple hair, dry hair, brazy hair in general, cannot leave the house because hair are getting purple. Desire was just, okay, I just want to have shiny, beautiful, healthy hair. Since we started using this, we had a CPA decrease of almost 40%, all over accounts in any industry. So I do see a lot of industries, and I just highly recommend to use it as well. Two things. How can you actually measure if you reached your audience with the right messaging? And that's something you need to go inside of your ad manager. This is the ad. I just want to show you something to better understand it. This is our ad. This is the first 3 seconds. There's a hook rate, also known probably as thumb stop rate. And then everything that's happening between second 3 and 15 is our hold rate. And all this together, of course, is somewhere the average watch time on a video. So if your hook rate, and that's now important, is below 30%, you don't reach your audience. The angle, the messaging that you have doesn't resonate with your audience. If your hold rate is below 25%, you're not able to transform the problem into a solution within 15 seconds. Does it make sense? Great. So, and that's important now. It's a custom metric inside of Facebook. It's for the hook rate. It is 3 seconds video views divided by impressions. And the hold rate is true plays. That's actually the 15 seconds. Divided by 3 seconds video plays. So this is the best way how you can see, do I reach my audience? And if I reach them with a hook, do I keep them? And when I have then a high average watch time, then I give the value to the user. Then I have, when we go back to the bid, to the estimated action rate, to the value, this is the value that I give to the user. And this is why Facebook rewards me, because I keep the user as long as possible on the platform. That's the only goal. They don't care about us advertisers, like I said. And there's one thing in general, not only ad-wise. You can use this framework for your landing pages. You can use it to write your headlines, your body copy, literally everything, also to create your offer. And that's something I always do, just to keep the overview. Because if you have, like we have 400 SKUs, at a certain time you lose complete overview about your funnels. We use a Figma board, or you can use Canva, or just go into a Word document and map out the journey from the customer. So this is your ad. If it's a video ad, it has a hook, right? So just write down the hook from in the Figma board. Then it has a body copy. Put it next to it. It has a CTA. Put it next to it. Make a screenshot from your headline of your landing page. Make a screenshot of the body copy of your landing page. And make a screenshot then of your offer. And go back to your framework and check, are you in line? Is there any disruption on the way? Because if your headline suddenly on your landing page says something different than your hook, there's a disruption, you lose the client. Does it make sense? And that's the difference between what I said at the beginning, when we're going back now to the estimated action rate. That's Facebook rewards us is this. If my landing page is also in place, not only my ad, there's a congruency from hook to body copy to headline to body copy on the landing page to the offer. I keep them long, right? The session time is high, the conversion rate is high. What's happening again? Facebook says, oh wow, you give a lot of value to me and my users. The reward is you don't need to bid that high, your CPA is low. That's how the game is working. Yeah. Actually, that's it. Yeah, of course, if you have some questions, let me know.
Oh.
Like this is my problem with ads because I get them off the platform, I think, too fast. And then like I feel like I convert well on the page, but I'm like, I wish there was like a green button where you could be like, no, Facebook, these are good. You're doing good. Because then they go into like some other land and I'm like, where did you go? Like you were doing good. And so I'm curious if my problem has been like that I'm not keeping them on the platform long enough. I'm so focused on the funnel side that I'm not focused on. So like, what do you recommend for like video length? Or I've seen people do even like presentations now on ads where they're like, I think.
I think it's like, especially now this year, next year is like really diversified, going from short form 15 seconds up to 60 seconds, going on VSL somewhere between 2 minutes, 4 minutes. Give as much tools to Facebook as possible. So I would just recommend start out with a video at like 30 seconds and something. Check what's your hook rate. Just always, like Russell said, stick to the framework. Check what's the hook rate. Because like I said, if the hook rate is below 30%, you don't, the messaging that you have in the first 3 seconds and the feeling you give, it doesn't resonate. So for whatever reason, they just scroll further. If your hook rate, for example, is great and the hold rate isn't good, you know, okay, I have to check everything what's happening between seconds 3 and 15. And that's what I do, step by step.
So what about images from that perspective, or do you just have more success with videos?
It's actually, you can also use images, of course. Everyone resonates with a different kind of creative, actually. If you have just creatives, use the positive, negative list and just build hooks based on the list. For example, use one image and test 10 different hooks based on the research you did and see what kind of hook does highly likely resonate with your audience. So what has the highest CTR? What's the lowest CPC? Even if you don't get any conversions. Watch these soft metrics.
Okay.
And then go from there. You know, okay, when I have testing 10 different hooks for all the research that I did, and for example, purple hair is my best ad, then you know what you need to go for. That's your messaging. That's the main problem of your audience. Yeah. So stick to it and then build from there. Right. And always take care of then, if you say your landing page is converting and you start testing hooks, take care that the hook resonates with the headline then on your audience. So it could mean you need to rewrite your headline for this specific ad.
No, I love that because I think I do it in my head, but I've never like actually put it on paper.
It's a game changer actually. Yeah. Because even myself, I think I have everything in mind. I don't. Sometimes I have an idea for an ad and I just bump it out and then I forgot, oh wow, there was a different kind of landing page. And then I see it didn't convert because it doesn't make any sense.
You changed one thing on your landing page, but you forgot about the ad.
Exactly.
And then,
yeah.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure other people. Oh man. Okay, here we go.
When you said, when you ask anybody who pushes out 300, 400 creatives per month, I thought you were, unless I missed it, I thought you were going to start permutating this one with this one, this one with this one, this one with this one. Do you do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly like this. It's like we have a team for it, of course. I still do it myself when we test something. Mm-hmm. But an ad creative process is also just like that's a bit on the duration part. So, and that's something, let's go back to this framework, right? And we have back here the CTA. And for example, if you have a messaging or something that's already working, and you know, okay, this hook is working, the hold rate is working, whatever. At a certain point, you have two issues. Find the winning ad or recreate a winning ad. Doesn't matter where you are at scale at the moment. So if you want to find a winning ad, like I said, and your hook rate is at a certain level, you know exactly where you need to work on. So it's the hook. The hook is part of, you can use a thumbnail, actually. You can change the text. And you can also use the first 3 seconds of the video. So actually, you have 3 options, and possibilities to create an ad, right? So you have one ad actually, but you make 3 iterations. And it's the same then if you go further in this part, you have your benefits, 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's just enough to switch around the benefits. Use the one that you use on the third, this time as benefit 1. It's a new iteration, right? So you can just speed up your ad. Use like, I don't know, 1.5 or 2. It's a new ad, also for Facebook. So and then you have different kind of CTAs you can use. You can change the body copy. So you can change the music. I mean, we have tested in one project 20 different musics, and we have seen so many difference in ad performance. And that's what I said. It's like you just need to have frameworks in place where you know exactly, okay, I have my positive, negative list, problem, anxiety, desire. I just can insert them always into the framework. At the same time, I know exactly when something is not working in the ad, what do I need to optimize? Not always to reinvent the wheel and cracking out something completely from scratch, because then you never know what's working, what did work. You know what I mean?
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, I have an ask, by the way. Yeah, so I did a lot of this stuff like under the radar, just consulting in the past. I want to coach this, so it's finished. And if you could do me a favor, take a paper and pen, write down your positives, negatives, problems, anxieties, and desires, and just hand it over. You don't need to put a name on it, but that's now my research with you guys. And then I know exactly what your pains are, what your problems are, and then based on this, I will start testing my ads and my landing pages.
In relation to the paid ads.
Exactly, yeah. So, please. Thank you.
Can I ask a question real quick? One more question?
Yeah.
So could you talk about your testing process and how much will you spend at most on a test? And if it exits the test, how much do you spend at scale when you find a winning ad?
Actually, we have some ads. If you have really a winning ad, you see it immediately because it's grabbing all the spend from the whole account. Some ads we had like 1.5 million on a single ad where you just can bump it up. In general, it's like I let it run for probably 2-3 days to see just how the soft KPIs are. Like I said, I check my hook rate, my hold rate. When I see the first day already it's off, then I shut it off. We aim internally for 40% plus on both hook rate and hold rate. That's why then the magic is happening when you outcompete anyone. And then if I really see, like we discussed also yesterday, so probably what I do with creative testing, we use cost caps. And for those of you who do, the ad part yourself, we use one CBO campaign, put in a cost cap in the campaign, use the old ads that we had, but without any post ID. So it's actually the fresh ad itself, and we put in all the new ads. If it's not spending because it's cost capped, it means for Facebook it will not spend in the future. Your ad is just not working, right? So in this case, you don't waste money on testing. So that's how we can probably test 400 ads without spending probably 4,000 or 5,000 on this test. We spent maybe 200 or 300, and we know exactly, okay, out of these 400, 2 or 3 were working.
So for your scaling campaigns, do you set cost caps for those too?
We have cost caps for
on every single campaign
as well. Yeah.
Every campaign you do it.
Yeah, especially now if you go into Black Friday and you need to hit a certain KPI, it does make sense to cost cap the whole account.
Will you ever increase your cost cap?
Yeah, of course, it's an ongoing process, especially if you go from, if the month is changing or the quarter is changing, you always see a difference in cost caps. Because it makes sense. There's new competition coming on, so it's always an ongoing process.
So you're always measuring and deciding what should this cost cap be. Okay.
Yeah.
And last question, do you have any benchmarks on your click-through rate? Like your all and your link clicks?
No, because it's based on benchmark concerning CPMs. The CTR is direct congruency with the CPM. So the higher your CPN, the higher your CTR needs to be. And higher CPM or high CPM is not always bad. It's just, in the first hand, it means a lot of competition, of course, but you always get a higher quality traffic. So it's always...
I always heard marketers say you want to aim for at least 1 to 2% at high, 3% click-through rate.
I know, but
so that's going to differ?
Yeah, it's something you cannot measure, actually. I hear this a lot, but it's like I don't benchmark anything because it's a lie. So let's say it like this. If you have a CPM of 100, for example, your CTR needs to be at least 3% to get a decent CPC. If your CPM is, I don't know, $7, your CTR cannot be 3%. It's almost impossible. It's probably somewhere 0.4 or something. But it's fine because your CPC is in the same range like with the $100
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But typically, like a higher click-through rate, does that mean that your ad is going to perform better?
Depends on the CPM, like I said. If the CPM is high, you need to have a high CTR. But it also means if you have a high CTR with a high CPM in correlation, you get the high quality traffic from Facebook. So Facebook knows your audience. They don't give you any trash traffic, and that's why the CTR is higher.
Cool. And so this process here with your hook rate, your hold rate, that's really for video creatives, right?
Exactly, yeah.
How would you measure it on images?
It's just the CTR and the CPC. Do I hit my KPIs? And then I need to go further, of course, because I check always when I have a static image. Then for me, the static is the hook. And then I always check the session time on my landing page. Because if you see what's happening in here in the video ad, the hook, and then we are going over to the hold rate, we don't have it in the static ad. So for me, my hold rate, if I just want to transform it, it's actually the session time on my landing page. When the hook is on point in my static image and I lose them immediately on the landing page, I know, comparable to the hook rate, there's something wrong with the landing page.
Gotcha. And your video creators typically under a minute?
We have some VSLs running like up to 5-6 minutes as well. So it's
app?
really from 15 seconds till up to, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.